Test. Test.
Yeah, I need to make sure I can hear you. 1 sec, okay? What is up? Yeah, I hear you. I hear you just fine. What's going on? So a lot of people might not know this, but me and my girl are actually really into true crime. And this is a crazy day because there seems to be a possibility that the Menendez brothers might actually get out of prison. Isn't that crazy?
So happy.
I am too, actually. I completely think that they deserve to get out.
I think I'm probably going to cry if they get out. I'm not going to lie.
You're gonna like cry tears of sadness or tears of joy?
They've almost been in prison longer than we've been alive.
I know, isn't that crazy?
They've been in prison for 35 years.
Yeah. So if you don't know, like, I don't know how you wouldn't know about the Menendez brothers if you're clicked onto this stream. Yeah. Do you want to talk about? Let me adjust this over here. Do you want to talk about maybe like what this is all about?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so their dad basically molested them, correct?
No doubt about it.
I mean, I think it's pretty self-evident that he did.
I mean, there's other young men coming forward and saying their father molested them too.
Yeah.
I mean, and as far as everybody being like, well, they killed their mother also, so why'd they kill their mother? Their mother knew what was going on.
Oh, for sure.
And she just turned her head. In fact, she blamed them.
What was that?
In fact, she blamed them.
The mom did?
Yeah.
Blamed them for them getting molested?
Blamed them for their father being the way he was.
Oh my god.
She actually hated those boys.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
The one cousin of theirs said that when he would go there to stay the night, that he would go in Eric's room or Lyle's room and close the door, and Kitty would just stand and play stupid. Like,
yeah. Pretend like she didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure anybody watching this has probably seen the Netflix series. There was something I wanted to touch on with that. I know I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit. It's just crazy to me. I'm starting to think that the director of this series might have put this together because he actually wanted them to get out.
I think so. Because it makes no sense that he would put them in a serial killer show.
Right?
Because they're not serial killers.
Yeah, exactly. Not only that, but throughout that entire series, I mean, it really felt like it was heavily in favor of them, didn't it?
Yes.
I mean, it seems like they added one scene to that whole thing at the end just to make it seem like maybe they were guilty of something, but that to me felt like an afterthought.
The thing I'm getting sick of, like, seeing is people being like, oh, they were just spoiled rich boys. While that might be true, that they were spoiled, their father and mother were trying to keep them quiet, but what people fail to realize is they're not going to have that money when they get out.
Yeah, no. I mean, it does seem like they have the support of their family, though.
Yes, but their family wasn't rich like their parents was.
I mean, I don't know. I'd have to do research into their family.
But it's not like they were left anything.
True. But, I mean, can you believe that this is actually happening?
No.
Me neither.
No, and the district attorney even said it is due to the show Monsters because he had so much, like, mail, he couldn't even keep up with it all.
And didn't he say he even, like, pulled it forward? Like, this wasn't even supposed... Like, there was supposed to be... He pushed it forward.
It wasn't supposed to happen till, like, after November.
Yeah, like, there was going to be, like, a parole hearing for these guys or something in November, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, like, he got all of this mail that...
was advocating for them.
Yeah, and it convinced them to pull it forward. Right?
Yes.
Nuts.
They could... I'm not saying it's gonna happen because they still have to go through the governor of California and they still have to get the judges okay, but they could be out as early as tomorrow.
Oh man, that'd be crazy if they were let out tomorrow. That's an interview I'm looking forward to seeing.
I want to see that too.
I really do want to see that interview. Actually, I
I
think it'd
want to
be.
see that, and I I say this in the nicest way possible. After that interview, people need to leave them alone. Like they need
Yeah,
to readjust
yeah.
cuz you got to think. Everybody's like, "Oh, they might reoffend." They're not used to life on the outside. They've been in prison for 35 years.
It,
Think about how much life has changed.
yeah, I don't think there's any chance
I
of
don't
them
either.
reoffending. I really don't. I
And
honest.
everybody is like advocating that they were good in prison. Like they were helping prisoners in prison, and the one got his bachelor's degree.
Well, yeah, and isn't Lyle's supposedly working on a master's?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so when I was watching the press conference, right,
Mm-hmm.
and the DA, was it the DA or was that his attorney that was saying? I think it was the DA actually.
It was the DA. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure.
the DA was straight up talking about how most people who go to prison and they get like life, right, in prison with no parole. Um, he was saying that, I mean, they could have had the mindset of, screw it, I'm gonna be in here for the rest of my life. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be a straight up
And mind
convict.
you, these two were on that mindset. They never thought that they were gonna. They still to this day don't think they're gonna get out.
I know.
They don't have the mindset of yeah, we're gonna be free.
Yeah.
They don't have that mindset.
No, not at all.
They're just happy that they're reunited with each other.
Yeah. It's just crazy to me because I mean, that guy's right. I mean, he seriously could have, both of them, sorry, they seriously could have been like, we're going to be criminals for the rest of our lives. We're going to start joining gangs, we're going to start trying to peddle drugs in here. We're going to start doing all of this crazy stuff. And instead, these guys just go and try to better themselves, even though there's a good chance they're never ever going to see the outside.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that's now look, I know some people will be like, well, that's what most murderers would do, right? Because they want to get out eventually and they want to make it look like they're good and like, hey, I found Jesus and all that stuff. But like with this case in particular, like I remember watching like the real footage of them, right? And like on the stand, and they look like they had genuine remorse to me.
Whereas Gypsy Rose has no remorse.
No,
She cries when it pertains to her.
only. I mean, look, this might sound messed up, so I apologize before I say this to anybody who might get offended from this, but like, Gypsy was like mentally abused, right? Maybe physically abused a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so these kids were sexually molested by their father.
From the time they were way younger than Gypsy.
And they're both men, so it's really hard for them to deal with that. Like being a man, I can tell you, like it'd be really hard for me to deal with that if that happened to me. And so the fact that like they had to go through that, in my opinion, that's worse.
And the fact that they had to go through that and their mother knew
Yeah,
and blamed them.
yeah. And if other people are to be believed, then it could have been that the mother was doing it too, but that's a whole nother story that's never been
Never been
substantiated.
proven, but
Yeah, it's never been substantiated. But I mean, especially recently, like we've had way more proof that the Menendez brothers' father actually did do this to them, because there was other people who came out against their father.
mm-hmm.
And there was also evidence that was never put into court.
Well, the thing is also, and I'm not trying to down Lyle whatsoever because I agree that they should be free, but if you listen to their stuff, Lyle even molested Eric because of what their father was doing to them.
Right.
Like,
Right.
and he was ashamed.
Yeah.
And the reason he said he did it is because he didn't know any better.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, going back to Gypsy Rose, if she can be free, why can't these guys be free? And then also, remember we were talking about this earlier, but look at Charles Manson. Technically, he never killed anybody.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we should have let him go. I'm just saying, like, what's fair is fair. You know, if Charles Manson had to stay in there for as long as he did, until the day he died, he is dead, right?
Yeah, he died from colon cancer.
Yeah, I thought so. Then why is Gypsy free?
Yeah, because Charles Manson didn't. Well, he technically did kill somebody, but
Oh, did
that's
he?
a different story.
Oh, that's something you need to tell me about on the next podcast.
We'll discuss that in another stream. But
Oh, okay.
he technically did kill somebody, but it didn't come forward until later.
That's news to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so it didn't come forward till later. What do you mean by that? Do you remember? I need a drink, guys. Sorry.
I have a few notes about it. I don't want to touch base too much on Charles Manson right now.
No, I'm just curious about this whole
It was called the Hinman murder. Gary Allen Hinman was a music teacher and PhD student at UCLA. At some point in the late 1960s, he befriended members of the Manson family.
Oh yeah.
Skipping ahead a little, family members Bobby, Mary, Leslie, and Susan went into his home on July 25th, 1969 to convince him to join the family and turn over all his assets to Charles. And thought Hinman had inherited, and he wouldn't do it. He denied it. He denied having any money during this time. Charles arrived with a sword and slashed Hinman's face and ear.
Oh, really?
After that, Bobby stabbed Hinman to death.
Oh, for real?
Allegedly on Charles' instruction.
Oh, okay.
So yes, he was charged with Gary Allen Hinman's death.
All right, but he didn't actually commit the murder, though.
He didn't actually commit the murder, but he was charged. That was another count he was charged with.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's my point, though. Like, you know, if he didn't commit the murder, Gypsy didn't commit the murder either.
No, and Nicholas Godejohn's still in jail.
Yeah, you know, and Gypsy is, like, free.
Gypsy did a total of 7 years, I think.
I'm sorry to any future viewers of this, but I will never skip over an opportunity to say that Gypsy Rose should be in jail to this day.
And the fact that she's having a daughter scares the hell out of me.
It should scare the hell out of the world, in my opinion. It should. I mean, why? It baffles me.
Even the guy that she's with, Ken, says that they got together. Well, they were together before she got married to what's his name, Ryan, and then they got back together. But even he said that they got pregnant way too fast.
Yeah. I'm just saying, man. Like, these guys have been in jail for 35 years.
35 years.
35 years.
That's almost longer than I've been alive
on the planet. Exactly. That's my point. You know. So I mean, if Gypsy's free, these guys should be free, in my opinion.
Exactly.
You know. I mean, I really think it's been way too long.
They're going to be on probation if they get out, and if they offend, they'll throw them back in jail, which I understand.
Well, I mean, not only that, but I mean, these guys have wives now.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
families.
Yeah. It's the first time they're going to be able to get out and actually see their wives. That's kind of heartwarming, man. Like, man, you know, maybe
I'm going to cry tears of joy when I find out they get out.
You know, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm a messed up person, but
maybe I am too.
I just feel like they should not have been in there for that long.
Well, I was listening to the DA when he was talking earlier, and he said if they would have charged him with manslaughter, they would have been out.
Yeah, they would have been out years ago.
They would have been out years ago.
Yeah. Well, he was also talking about how, like, the literal current district attorney, right, was talking about how he felt like the previous district attorney, the one that prosecuted this case, like, he felt like that guy, like, had to do it, you know, because he had so many losses on his record that it was making him look bad. So it was like he felt like he had to put these guys into jail just to make them look better and to make them look competent.
Well, the thing is also is like another thing that's stacked on the Menendez brothers' shoulders, and unbeknownst to them, and it's not their fault, but the stigma.
Yeah.
The stigma that sticks to men when it comes to sexual abuse or rape.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many people I have heard. Even my own father used to say men can't be raped.
Yeah.
Or sexually abused.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but if a woman can be sexually abused and raped, a man can be sexually abused and raped.
A man can definitely be abused and raped, you know, especially if it's another man doing it to the
Yeah,
to
if
the
a
man.
woman can rape a man,
Yeah.
a woman can sexually abuse a man. That's a hill I'll die on.
I completely understand that, you know. I mean, and these guys had to live, imagine that kind of a life, right? Like
Yeah.
you're living through that. You're
Yeah, you have
dealing
a
with
lot of
this.
money, but at what cost?
Yeah, but I
They're
mean,
buying you a car, they're buying you all this nice stuff, but at what cost?
yeah, but I mean like you're living through that for your whole life, right? And then this happens, which I'm not going to sit here and say they're justified in what they did. But I will say, like, imagine living their life, you know? Like, after that happens, you go to jail for the rest of your life, and that's just it.
I'm not
So,
gonna glamorize it.
no, I'm not glamorizing, but I'm just saying, just think about that for a second, though. Like, you're born, right? Your dad, you know, wakes you up in the middle of the night when you're like 6 years old and starts fondling you and crap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, does God knows what for years you try to tell your cousin, you know, and your cousin gets a letter from you talking about it. Someone knows about it, and then you find out that he's been doing it to your brother.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
then come to find out that same cousin that Eric told killed himself. Couldn't
yeah,
handle the guilt.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, like, just to jump back though, so now you're like 9, 10 years old. Your dad's still doing this crap to you, right? And then he starts doing it to your brother, and you're so twisted in the head that you start doing it to your brother because you think that's what love is. You
And
know what I mean?
finally, the older brother stands up and he's like, to the dad, and is
Mhm.
like, I'm not gonna let you do this to my little brother anymore. And the dad's like, he's my creation. I'll do with him as I please.
Yeah, like I think I'd be pretty upset too. Don't you?
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
they say, well, why did they lie about it at first and go on a spending spree? What would you do? What would you do if you were finally free from not only your abusers, but your sexual tormentor?
Yeah, see, that's the thing about that. Like, I don't buy into this whole, oh, spending spree, they did it all for money crap.
No,
I really don't.
I don't.
You know, well, number one, these kids were rich from birth,
Yeah.
right? Like, they were used to buying a
Whatever
lot
they
of
wanted,
things.
when they wanted.
Yeah. You know, but not only that, but like, as you just said, right, they were finally free to do what they wanted with their lives.
Yeah, they broke free.
These guys are grown-ass men whose father is still telling them what to do.
Well, my thing is technically, the one was still a teenager
Yeah,
when this happened. And the one was barely in his 20s.
yeah,
They finally had freedom from their sexual tormentor.
right.
And I don't think their mom was an angel, but.
No, I don't think their mom was an angel by any means whatsoever.
And the sick thing about it is, and I will say this, they would have got away with it had one of them not spoke up and said it was tormenting him.
Yeah.
That shows me right there they have remorse.
Well, you know what? You know what really shows me that they probably have remorse in there is, now granted that is if this is true, because obviously it's a he said she said thing at this point, right?
Yes.
But if the brothers were reluctant to talk about the sexual abuse even after the murder, right, the way it was
Right.
portrayed, then in my opinion that right there shows remorse more than anything, and I'll tell you why. So hear me out on this before you jump in, okay?
Okay.
So they could have easily just been like, "Oh, we killed our we killed our dad. We killed our dad because he was raping us. We killed our dad. You know, they could have screamed that to the high heavens."
Yeah.
But even after they're caught, they're not doing that.
Nope.
You know, now some people could say, "Okay, well that's because they made it up." All right, fair enough, fair enough. I could see why somebody would maybe think that, right? And I can also see, to be fair to the previous DA and the previous police officers involved in the past, why they would think that too. But with the evidence that has been presented, right, the proof that they have actually talked about this before, and also,
Letters.
yeah, in letters, and also knowing now, like, how hard it is, especially for men, to talk about this kind of thing. Right? And you also have to remember back then,
Yes.
at the time, like there was a huge stigma about this.
Like, homosexuality was, if you think that it's a stigma now, back then, homosexuality of any kind was looked at as bad.
Yeah, it was way worse then. Now, way worse than it back then than
Why
it
do
is
you
now.
think all those music artists, like the lead singer of Queen, hid the fact that he was gay?
Yeah.
Hid the fact that he was dying from HIV and AIDS.
Yep. Yeah, because I mean, I remember it even when I was a kid, and that was a few years after that. So I mean, if it was that bad when we were kids and teenagers, actually,
Mm-hmm.
so just imagine how bad it was before that.
So if they came forward when they were younger and been like, "Oh, my dad's touching me," they probably would have been looked at like, "You're boys."
Well, but that's the thing is they did.
Well, yeah, but I mean, nobody listened.
Exactly, that's my point. Yeah, that's my point, right? So now they've done this horrible murder, and instead of just like screaming that to the high heavens, they're still trying to hide that.
And
Which,
they defended their mom.
yeah, which shows shame to me, which proves to me that these guys have shame.
Yes.
It not only that, but also proves to me that they did not feel great about what they did. I mean, someone who has no remorse for a murder does not admit to somebody, regardless of if it is his psychiatrist or not. They don't
Right.
admit that to people. They never admit that.
Like I said, had he not admitted that, they could have got away with it.
Yeah.
And they would have been living it up.
Yeah. That's my point there is, if they had no remorse, then I don't think they would have gone the route that they did.
Yeah.
One sec. Something to look at. You can keep talking if you want.
Not to mention, if this was all like, let's say this was all made up that their dad did that to them, why would Lyle then come forward and say, "I did this to my brother"?
Yeah.
Because I didn't know any better.
Yeah. I feel bad for him.
Flat out said he molested his little brother with tears. He cried when he was talking about it.
Yeah.
And said, "I didn't know any better. My dad was doing it to me, so..."
I mean, obviously, the only people that know are the people that were involved, right?
Right.
But even still, it seems believable to me, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. It seems very believable to me. The only other theory that I could see possibly being true, and I hate to bring the show up again, and I don't know if remember that older guy who was always at dinner talking about the case with his friends?
Yep.
And I
don't remember who he was.
Yeah, but you remember that guy?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so you remember that he had it out for like the lawyer or whatever, right?
I do.
All right, so the only
because
other
she got somebody off that killed his daughter.
His daughter, right? The only other like theory I've ever heard posed to this that actually made a lot of sense to me that I could actually buy and see could be plausible is the one he brought up in the show, where he was saying maybe the two brothers, right, were fooling around, and then the mom walked in on them.
Well, they showed a clip of that kind of.
Yeah. In the show, obviously not like a real life clip, but in the show, and it was posed as like this alternate theory as to why, this might have happened, and that's the only one that would really make sense to me.
Yeah.
And I just really don't buy the whole they did it for money thing whatsoever.
I don't either. What I buy into is the fact that after they killed their parents, they saw the money and they were like, "We're free.
Yeah.
We can do whatever the hell we want to do.
Yeah.
For once in our lives. So we're gonna do what we want."
Right. But like even then, I mean, people will say, okay, they did it for the money. I don't know, like let's talk about this, okay? Let's look at the other side for a second here. Let's really just throw this out there and see how we feel about it, okay?
Okay.
Because I don't think we've ever had like a full blown, maybe they really did do it for the money discussion. All right.
Okay.
So when did the dad tell them they were out of the will? Like, was that like a week or so before the murders happened?
I think that was no, I think it was way prior.
Prior to that.
Because, as I remember, he told them that, and then it was like, They went out and they found jobs, remember? Because Lyle found a job.
Yeah.
And then Eric found a job. So I think it was a while after.
Okay. So let's just go on the assumption that it was true for the sake of argument. Why kill your parents in a way that is going to look so suspicious to the insurance company?
Not only that, but why kill your parents for the money? If they killed them for money, why kill them for money when you already know you're wrote out of the will?
Well, that too.
They already knew that
Right.
they were out of the will. Then once the people came to get the will, they weren't going to get anything.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously, the detractors of that argument are going to just throw out there that, hey, well, they did it because they didn't want to be written out of the will, and they wanted to stop it before it happened.
But they were already wrote out of the will.
I was going to say that, yeah, I was under the assumption that he had already done it before he had even told his kids.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't get that one. I'm just saying, like, if I'm trying to kill somebody for their money, right? Like, say I'm trying to kill my dad for his money, right? And I heard that. I'm not going to try to walk in there with a shotgun and shoot him in the face. I'm going to try to slowly poison him. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Does that seem dumb to you? Like,
no.
So I mean, if anything, them doing it the way they did, in my opinion, speaks more of it being a crime of passion than anything else. You know what I mean? Because it's like they had all this emotion involved with this. And again, I'm not saying it was good for them to do this, right? But I am saying that doesn't seem like something that was thoroughly thought out and planned out. I mean, unless they're idiots. And to be fair,
Neither of them strike me as idiots.
Well, they don't, but to be fair, I mean, I say this to you all the time, like, you have to be a certain level of stupid, even attempt, one of these crimes and think you could possibly get away with it. But still, I'm not shooting my parents in the face with a shotgun if I'm trying to get their money.
Well, my thing is also, I've thought a lot about it. Okay, let's say they did do it for money. But, okay, let's say they did it for money, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but take in the factor that the dad was still sexually abusing them.
Mm-hmm.
So they killed them for money. That makes it okay that their dad was touching them?
No, of course not. You know what's really crazy about this? Is if was it Lyle or Eric that came forward at first?
Eric.
If Eric didn't come forward when he did and this case went cold, and then, right, investigators started finding out about this whole sexual abuse thing, maybe the thing with Menudo, there's a very good chance that this case would be unsolved to this day. Because I could easily see people making, like, these theory videos and stuff about how, oh, it was the guy from Menudo that got that guy killed, or oh, it was one of his brothers who happens to be in, a Spanish mafia or something like that, right?
Well, they also said that their dad, Mr. Menendez, did have some offstanding stuff with the cartel, so.
Right. Yeah, well,
he did dabble in some shady shit.
Exactly. That's my point, right? Is if he did not come forward, this easily could have been one of those cases where
it could have been pinned on the cartel.
Yeah, and you could have had all of these conspiracy theory videos about how, oh, it must have been, the guy from Menudo that got sexually molested.
Mm-hmm.
Or, the cartel wanted their money because his dad was in the crazy stuff. I could see this going on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
So, again, if he didn't have any remorse, like, why is he telling his psychiatrist about this?
Right.
Does someone, just answer that question, does someone with no remorse even tell anybody about that?
Well, not only that, but does someone with no remorse get haunted by the crimes that they committed?
Yeah.
Because he literally said he was being haunted.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've read actual, like, stuff from, like, Eric, and he said, I felt like I was being haunted. And then once I spoke up, it's like all this pressure was off of me.
Yeah.
Like,
1 sec.
I
I'm
don't
sorry.
know, but I honestly, and If they reoffend, lock them back up. I'm just saying, but I do not think they will reoffend.
I don't think they're gonna reoffend either. The only thing I'm worried about at this point is whether or not the governor's just gonna shoot this right down.
Oh, I know.
Because
That's what I'm worried about, because he shot down. I know this is totally off topic. He shot down members of the Manson family.
Well, yeah.
But they actually did bad things, but...
Well, I mean, these guys did bad things too.
Well, yes. I'm not condoning murder.
I guess the reason I'm all hung up on this is the 35 years.
Yeah.
If they hadn't spent 35 years in prison, if it had been 19 years, right? I would be with those people being like, no, leave them in there for at least 6 more years.
That's why I said Gypsy is not rehabilitated.
No, not at all.
She shows no remorse.
Mm-mm.
The minute she's living it up like she's a celebrity.
Right.
She's celebritizing killing somebody.
Yeah. 100%.
Like, people look at her like she's a celebrity.
Yeah,
and
it's
she's
disgusting.
not.
No.
I don't
No.
look at the Menendez brothers like they're celebrities.
I don't think they're celebrities
I just
either.
look at them like people that have served their, like the district attorney said, they served their time.
They did.
They should be able to go.
Yeah. After 35 years, I think they've been in there long enough.
And they're like model prisoners.
Yeah.
And yes, I get it. Prisoners do that so they can get out. But hear me out. Lyle and Eric have been helping prison. They have had the mindset since they've been locked up. We are never getting out of prison. Never.
Yeah, exactly.
So why all of a sudden would they be model prisoners?
Right, yeah, you would think that,
They would just say fuck all. You
yeah.
know?
I know, I mean, be 100% real with you, like, if I killed someone and I went to jail, and I was in there for the rest of my life, no possibility of parole. I mean, number one, if I didn't kill myself, then I would probably, be rowdy in there.
Because even the district attorney said today that they have been on the mindset that they are never going to get out of there. They're going to die in there.
Yeah, that's what they thought, yeah.
The problem herein lies, if the governor shoots it down, if the judge shoots it down, they will die in there. They will.
I don't know, we'll see. I don't think that's going to happen.
I pray.
Well,
I pray it doesn't happen.
Well, see, the reason that I'm saying that, right, is I think if the governor shoots it down, there's going to be, oh, thank you for the sub. If you're in here or not, thank you for the sub. But I think there'll be like an outlash or like an outcry.
You're going to see one.
If he shoots it down.
Riot.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be a riot. I don't think
There's
that.
already people, like the district attorney or the news people said that there are already people camping out.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
Waiting to hear.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? People camping out, waiting to see if this goes through. Is it gonna tomorrow? It gets filed.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any idea on like a time frame? No.
They didn't say any time.
Okay, that's okay though. But I really hope they get set free. I mean, I love the part in the press conference where the lawyer for the family, right, is like, if you're worried about victim rights, and he puts his hands up, he's like, these are the victims right here. And they're all standing behind me.
I just want to make mention that one of the people that's advocating for them is Kitty, Menendez's mother, who is 90 years old, wants them out of prison.
Well, not only that, but isn't their brother or isn't their mom's sister one of them too?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, wow.
Aunts, uncles.
Yeah. Well, that one in particular, that one speaks volumes to me.
That one speaks volumes to me, and so does her mom.
Yeah.
Kitty's mom was there.
Yeah.
And she's in her 90s and she wants them out.
Yeah. I mean, well, let me put it this way. If this sexual abuse never happened, right? I don't think the family would be behind them as much as they are.
And the family's going to take them in. I don't know which parts. None of my business, but some of their family's going to take them in, if I'm not mistaken, unless they go to live with their wives.
I mean, they did say that they already have like a release plan for them, a rehabilitation plan for them, assuming that's to go with their families. But I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they're allowed to go to their wives.
Or their wives go there or whatnot.
Well, yeah, well, maybe for a little while they'll go with their families and the wives will come visit them until they can get them in society. But I mean, these guys are grown men. I'm sure they are gonna visit with their family at least, but I wouldn't be surprised if they went off with their wives. These guys are married now.
Well, not only that, but like people think that they're a danger. They're not going to know how to live.
No.
Times have changed in 35 years.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to have the luxuries that they had when they went in.
They didn't even have iPhones when they went in there.
No.
Like, imagine the culture shock you would have after 35 years.
Yeah.
Right? Not
And
only...
like,
Go ahead.
one brother isn't pretty anymore. Like,
Oh,
pretty.
neither of them are pretty anymore.
Well, I'm not going to say it.
What?
I think Eric is kind of hot. But...
Oh, you're going to say that right here, right in front of me, huh?
I'd not like I'd ever meet him.
I'm going to throw this camera on the ground right now.
Oh, please.
Ground, right? I'm just going to throw everything on the...
Okay, Mr. Gwen Stefani.
Gwen Stefani is fine. I don't care what you say.
And Eric Menendez is fine.
Okay, well, then we're even. Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then. Good. But, I mean, back to my point. Seriously, though, like, if there was no abuse going on, why would the family be behind them so much?
Exactly.
You know, that's my point.
Why would the 90-year-old great-grandma or grandma be behind them?
I mean, to me, that just screams of the family members knowing there was something weird going on there.
Now, if anything, that screams that the family feels some kind of guilt for
Yeah.
not protecting those kids.
Exactly.
Not that they're children, but you know what I mean.
Right, but when they were children.
Yeah.
You know, not to mention, like, it's heavily implied that it probably happened to their dad too.
Yeah.
Who knows how long this kind of stuff had been going on in this
Because
family.
it cycled down. Look, their dad did it to them. Lyle did it to Eric. So who's to say that Mr. Menendez's dad didn't do that to him?
Yeah, exactly. Or his mom too, wasn't it his mom? Yeah.
They hinted that his mom, because in the show, remember, he made that phone call
Yeah.
to his mom about his mom touching him.
Right.
So I don't know if any of that's true. That's the show. I'm not saying that's true.
Yeah, we don't know, like, if that's dramatized or anything like that, but still, I mean, I don't know. I honestly want these guys to get out. I think 35 years is long enough, don't you?
If Gypsy can get out in 7, they should be out in 35.
Yeah, for real. I just cannot let that go.
I can't either.
I just cannot let that go. I cannot believe to this day that woman is walking free.
I know.
You know, but Nick is still in jail.
Yeah. I'm not saying that Nicholas Godejohn should be out walking the streets. He should be in an institution where people can properly take care of him.
Facts.
Mentally.
I agree. Yeah.
He needs to be regulated.
Yeah, he's got mental issues. Yeah.
Anybody that looks at that guy can tell he is not 100%. He's autistic, and he's got the mentality of a 15-year-old. That's his own mom talking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy to me, though. I mean, what is wrong with people that think that Gypsy should be free? I really don't understand it. I know, I remember.
But my thing is like...
Well, it's like the... Wait. I'm sorry. Let me cut you off real quick.
Go ahead.
It's like those people that think Scott Peterson should be free.
Ooh, you used to be one of those.
I did. That's my point.
You used to be one of those, and what did I... That's a hill I'll die on. He killed her.
Oh, yeah, he killed her. For sure he killed her.
Well, now you change your views.
Well, yeah, because I didn't know all the facts of the case until, like, 2 years ago.
Yes.
You know, because especially the way that they portrayed that stuff in the media, right?
That man is a narcissistic asshole.
Oh, definitely.
And you know another one I can't stand? Chris Watts. They should fry that mother...
Well, now he's saying it was all Nicole Kessinger's idea.
Yeah.
You know, like...
Yeah. I believe she had something to do with it.
Oh, she 100% had something to do with it.
Because she was stalking his life before they even got together.
Yeah.
And that's proven.
Yeah.
She lied, but that's another topic. We're talking about the Menendez brothers.
Well, the reason I'm bringing these people up is it's like if these other people, right, at least have a chance of getting parole or are free, you know, then why the hell have the Menendez brothers been in jail for 30 years, 35 years, sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, taking it back, Do you know how many people advocate for Scott Peterson's being free?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that actually do.
Do you know how much hate I've seen for Shanann and those little girls?
A lot.
I've seen women say that she got what she deserved.
Yeah.
Huh. Are you kidding me? I can't even watch a show on Shanann and those little girls without crying.
I know, right? Yeah, these people are crazy, man.
I can't, like, that's one thing I will never be able to fathom in my brain, how you could kill children like that.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah. But but at the same time, now that you mentioned that, like, how are you gonna sexually abuse a kid like that?
Exactly.
Right?
Taking it back to that.
Yep.
Exactly. Defenseless. Children
Seriously.
are defenseless.
Yeah, so I mean, I know it's cliche, but you kick a dog so many times, eventually it's gonna lash
bite
out.
you.
Yeah. That's just the rules of life, Like, again, I'm not saying that they did anything right. They obviously shouldn't have done this. They were grown-ass men.
Okay.
They could have left.
Let me cut you off real quick.
All right.
Let's say the Menendez brothers, right? They're being sexually abused. What if they would have killed their parents when they were kids?
Yeah.
Would that have made any difference in people's minds?
No.
No, but I'm saying if like they were like 12 and 13 and they killed their parents because they were sick of being abused and sexually abused and tormented, would that have made a difference? I think it would have.
Actually, yeah, I think it would have too.
I think they would have got off.
Yeah.
But what they did was they waited. They thought maybe they could escape in other ways.
Yeah.
And then finally they just couldn't take it anymore.
And then they just snapped. Is
Exactly.
what you're saying?
It's the whole you kick a dog enough times, like you said, and it's gonna get you.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. So.
Well, I mean, look at Gypsy. You kick a dog enough times.
What did she do? Yeah.
She got somebody to kill her mom.
See, like, my whole issue with a lot of this is the fact that I honestly think that people are being so, like, hard on these two individuals because they're men.
It's the stigma.
And
that stigma is so gross.
I think if this had been two daughters, this whole case...
They wouldn't have even went to jail.
Probably not. I mean, maybe they would have gone to jail for a while, but they would have been, like, glorified in the media.
They would have been released like Gypsy.
Eventually, yeah. And then they would be celebrities, right?
Yeah.
Like doing the stuff on Instagram and all that crap that Gypsy's been doing. You know? I really think that. I honestly, I hate to say it, but I honestly 100% think that if the Menendez brothers were the Menendez sisters, people would be like, oh, these women, they were so brave.
They're noble. They're strong women.
They took things into their own hands to escape their tormentor.
That's what people say about Gypsy.
That's my point, yeah.
Well, my thing is also, like, and that's what's so scary about this, because, like, if you think about that stigma, and I hate to bring up another topic, but if you think about that stigma, why do you think that Justin Bieber's not coming forward about P. Diddy? Why do you think Usher's not coming forward? Because of things like the Menendez brothers.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna believe them because they're men.
Well, they will now, but they probably wouldn't have believed them in the past.
They wouldn't have believed him in the past. I've heard, like, things that Justin Bieber has said, and it breaks my heart. Like, he said, oh, people say I look girly, so it doesn't matter what people do to me.
Yeah.
Oh, people say that I'm gay, so it doesn't matter what people do to me.
I mean, as messed up as it sounds, it's not so much anymore, thank God, but, like, back then, it was really like that.
Yeah.
This was like 10, 15 years before that whole incident happened where that gay guy was killed for being gay and, like, strung up on a fence.
Matthew Shepard.
Yeah.
God rest his soul. Matthew Shepard.
Yeah.
Those guys knew this guy was gay. I'm just going to give everybody a brief rundown.
Right.
Matthew Shepard met these guys in a bar. A gay bar, mind you. And these guys flirted with him because they knew he was gay. Got him to flirt back, so what did they do? They beat the unholy hell out of this man and left him for dead. Strung him up on a fence and left him for dead. And he died.
Yeah.
He succumbed to his injuries.
Yeah. So Yeah, so if you're like wondering why like people would be afraid to come forward with like this kind of, allegation back then, like that's a great example. And that was like what, 10, 15 years after this happened?
Yeah.
So imagine it was even worse back then. Like when these guys did this, the stigma about being gay was way worse back then.
Yeah.
I mean, and self-evident by just them not even really wanting to talk about it,
Yeah.
So I honestly do think not only do these guys like have remorse about this, I think they were kind of sick in the head. And I don't mean like, well, obviously like they were killers,
They
right?
snapped.
They did it, they snapped, but I do think that like there was a lot of mitigating circumstances to this specific case. And I do think that those circumstances should be factored into sentencing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know some people might be like, well, if they killed your dad, how would you feel?
Well, if my dad was molesting little boys or little girls or whatever and raping them, I'd want damn straight.
Yeah.
What's the difference if, okay, let's say their dad got arrested for doing it. Okay. What's the difference in them killing him or the state killing them?
Yeah.
An eye for an eye, right?
Yeah. True. Thank God they didn't get the death penalty.
Oh my, that's what the DA was saying too. I listened to that. If they would have got the DA, chances are they might have already been dead.
Yeah, if they got the death penalty, they'd be dead already for sure. Well,
thank God.
maybe not
they
because they're in California, right?
Right.
California. I mean, I used to live there, so I know how democratic they are and how they don't really like the death penalty.
He was saying that one law, which is in California, like once you serve because of their ages, once you serve 26 years, they'll be automatically up for parole if it passes. They'll be automatically up for parole.
They could legitimately get out like next week.
Yes.
Like,
and I'm hoping and praying they do.
I mean, obviously they'd have to expedite the service, but they could legit get out like next week. Yeah. And I'm actually happy about it. I really am.
That means they'll get to spend Christmas for the first time with their family.
That would be great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I feel for these kids. I shouldn't say kids,
they're
but
not kids. They're older than we are.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. But I mean, living through something like that and then having to deal with all of this crap, like...
Could you imagine going into prison when you're 19 and coming out when you're 50?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like they never really went to college or got degrees.
They went to college through prison.
Through prison, but you know what I mean,
yeah.
They never really moved out, had their own place and had to get a job and their own life and everything. I don't know.
What I'm looking forward to is the interviews after. If they get out, I want to see all the interviews with them.
Yeah. Me too. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised though if they refuse to do interviews for a while.
I wouldn't blame them.
I wouldn't either.
That's why I said when they get out, let people need to leave them alone for a little while. Let them reacclimate.
I think we'll see them cry if they get out.
Oh, I know it.
Yeah.
Especially Eric. Eric's gonna cry.
I guarantee we'll see them cry.
They're probably gonna hug each other. I bet you money.
Hopefully they do, man.
First thing they do.
Yeah. But then weren't they separated too for
22 years?
22 years. That's
22
crazy.
years of the 35 years they served, they were separated.
Wow.
And they finally brought them back together.
Yeah. Man, that is insane. I think there's literally gonna be people partying on the street if these guys get released.
Oh. I get literal chills talking about it.
I know, right?
When I saw that in the news today, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
When I first told you about it, I thought it was fake at first.
Well, that's what I said to you. I was like, well, is it real or is it fake? I made you actually look it up and make sure that it was real.
Excuse me. I swallowed my spit wrong.
Oh, you gotta stop doing that. Come on.
I'll be right back.
Stop laughing. Alright, guys. Is there anything else about this you want to talk about, or are you good for right now?
Only that I'm all for them being free. Free the Menendez brothers!
I think they should be free too. I completely agree.
Free the Menendez brothers.
Yeah.
And that's a hill I'll die on.
Yep. Alright, cool. So I think I'm good.
I'm good.
I also think that these guys should be set free. It's ridiculous for them to be in prison if Gypsy Rose is free. I just think that's bull. So hopefully,
too. I'm keeping all of my fingers, my toes, my eyes,
yeah,
everything crossed, praying to God, if there is one, that they get released.
35 years is long enough.
They've more than served their time.
I feel like they have. Especially when you have like cold-blooded killers that get out after like 20 years on parole.
Well, look how many. Here we go. One more thing. Look how many times Ted Bundy got out.
Oh yeah.
Look how many murders Richard Ramirez committed. Look at Gacy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or
And
Israel Keys.
John Wayne Gacy didn't show any remorse
Whatsoever.
He was laughing at his execution.
Yeah. Yeah, for real. So, I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. Hopefully they get out. And I guess we're going to see.
Oh, we'll be seeing, I'm sure.
And, alright, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this video off right here. Thank anybody who was here. And if you're watching this later, like after the stream over, then thank you very much.
Don't forget to sub.
Yeah, please sub to us. We'd appreciate it. I just had a breaking thing pop up on my computer about it. Like this is all over the place right now. It's great. So but yeah, everybody have a good night, and we'll see you again. We are gonna do these true crime things sporadically, so if you just want to hear people talk about it, or if you want to come in yourselves and actually have conversations with us, please do.
And remember, free the Menendez brothers.
Yeah. Alright, everyone have a good night then.